in 1987, I was sending out, this is the old way you used to do it to try to get into the city, was send your CV out. I hadn't even done my A-levels. Anyway, I was lucky that there was a big demand for staff because the derivatives industry was booming. So I managed to get a job, and it's kind of crazy actually. I didn't realize what I was doing. I put my new suit on and I went to the office, and I didn't know what to expect. And I sat there for 20 minutes, and then the head trader said, okay, right, come with us. I didn't know where we were going. And the next thing I'm walking onto the stock exchange floor, which I'd only ever seen on TV. So for me, this was like, wow, I've only been in the job 30 minutes and I'm on the stock exchange floor. So that was great. That was the traded option market. It was very, very young at that stage. Actually, it was 1987, it was April, and by October, of course, there was October 1987 crash. The stock markets dropped 50% in a week, and the volumes died. So by December, I was actually out of a job, and I thought, that's it, that's my city career over. 9 months and I was out. But anyway, I managed to get, it actually ended up being a really good thing for me, because I actually managed to get a job with a market making company before I was with a broking company. So actually that was a great opportunity, because I learned how to trade for myself. And about 2 years later, I got kind of like headhunted, and I went over to the futures exchange, the London International Financial Futures Exchange, which was just crazy. It was absolutely an incredible experience.
Like I mentioned, I started trading about 6.5 years ago, and the initial curiosity for me came from my uncle who gave me that initial curiosity to check out the markets, and I did. And I pretty much went on to LinkedIn and found myself a free LinkedIn trial. It was a 30-day trial back in the day. And I outreached as many people who had Forex or trader in their bio, asking for mentorship from them. So 6.5 years ago, I was that annoying guy cold messaging people on LinkedIn. And long story short, I ended up finding a mentor. A gentleman named Mike was generous enough to help me out initially. And he taught me a little bit about his strategy. And I actually used that initial strategy that I learned from Mike to pick up my first round of investment. It was a $100,000 investment. And this was before I even knew about prop firms. This was a while ago now. And I ended up picking up that round of investment, a private round of investment. And I traded that strategy initially. However, the initial increase in capital for me was quite a lot at that time. That had a lot of psychological challenges on me, and I didn't know how to manage the extra amount of capital. I had a lot of the common psychological challenges like FOMO, revenge trading, all those types of things, all those challenges that come with trading larger capital at the time. And long story short, I ended up losing that initial round of investment. We had a drawdown buffer built into the contract. I ended up hitting that, and I lost that initial round of investment because I didn't know how to manage my psychology. And that was a very difficult part for me in my journey. I had a lot of unrealistic expectations of myself, a lot of fantasies around trading that all got crushed in that moment. I didn't take that loss of investment very well, and it left me really down at the time. Now, in that time, I was always studying human behavior and psychology because I loved it. I loved the markets. I loved the human brain. But it was losing that investment that was the impetus for me to go even deeper into the studies. And
I actually was a pre-med major, and I'm Chinese, and Chinese parents want you to be doctors or lawyers. And so I was a pre-med major, and I had never worked so hard in my life and did so poorly in organic chemistry. And so thankfully at NYU, we were required to take classes in a number of different majors. And so one of the classes I took was macroeconomics. And for me, it just clicked. Everything just made complete sense. And I could visualize it all in my head, and I fell in love with it. So I decided to transfer to the Stern School of Business. And when I went to Stern School of Business, they had these internships. And I got an internship with the Market Technicians Association. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it was one of the very first technical analysis societies in the world. And it had legendary names like Ralph Acampora, John Bollinger, people who basically started the whole technical analysis. And so I had my very first internship there. And with that internship, I learned how to look at charts. I learned how to trade. At the time, we were in the dot-com boom trading, and the only thing available to trade was stocks. Everyone was day trading stocks. So, we didn't really even have charting packages. We were using long pieces of paper where we draw X's and O's for price action. But with that said, I still learned technical analysis. And then I day traded stocks, and I started the I don't even remember what the society was called, but it was the investing society at NYU. I helped to start that. And we were all just learning how to trade and day trading stocks together. So my first job out of college was actually at JP Morgan Chase. And once again, it was probably good fortune, because at JP Morgan Chase, they'll have a rotational program. And the first rotation I had was in credit derivatives. And thank God I didn't stay there, because as you all know, the credit derivatives blew up the market. And I understood why, because I saw it from the inside out. The second rotation I had was on the FX trading desk. And, I once again fell in love. And, I really enjoyed what I was learning there. They, I guess, enjoyed, what I was doing for them. And they gave me a full-time, position. And that's where I started making markets. And this is right around the launch of the euro. And so I was asked to kind of focus on calculating all the legacy currencies, like the Scandinavian currencies, before the people were converting. But, that basically wet my feet. And that's where I started trading.
Well, I was in business school, in my late teens, and I decided that since I was in business school, I should probably learn something about the stock market. So I did a trading game, a simulated stock trading game with a bank in Canada, TD Bank. And I really enjoyed it, and I kind of got hooked on that. At the same time, where I grew up, had a lot of speculative stocks in the mining and oil and gas market. And so it was very common amongst my group of friends to trade those stocks. I mean, they're mostly penny stocks in those resource areas. And it just became part of my social network, was to trade stocks. And, I just loved it. It seemed like a really fun thing to do. I paid my way through university trading the stock market, and, really was hooked on it. I've never really done anything else. My last real job was being a DJ, which I did while I was at school. And I would, trade during the days, go to classes, and DJ at night. Didn't sleep much.
Since I was 15, I was always doing stuff online to try to make some money. And that's where I really started to know I never would like to work in a general office setting or employer relationship. So that's why I looked always for alternatives, stumbled across trading. Yeah, that's how I really got interested in it. And then I moved pretty much through everything: swing trading, day trading, algo trading, everything, until I settled for somewhere between day trading and swing trading. Started Edgewonk along the way because I saw this need to start recording your trades, analyzing your trades to get better eventually, find performance leaks. That's it for just continue to learn over time.
Yeah, I started trading 10 years ago from a tip. I got a tip from a friend that I should look into trading because I was really good at video games. I used to teach people to play World of Warcraft for money back then when esports wasn't a thing. So he thought that there's a lot of parallels between video games and trading. And then I started studying markets and I started with my own money, what I made from playing. And then I put a track record into the MyFX book, and I was found by my current partner. 7 years ago, we established managed accounts. And we around that time, I think 6 years back, 5 years ago, actually, we found Darwinex as well. We put a track record there as well. And we've been running managed accounts. At the point we had a usage hedge fund, and now actually we are fully consolidated at Darwinex and Capri. So we don't have managed accounts anymore. We are an investment advisory, and that's sort of my background in short.
I saw somebody posting like an MT4 screenshot from the phone on Facebook. And I think it showed like $2,000. And I'm like, okay, what is this? And how can I be a part of it? So I reached out to him And then I was brought into the organization, and I quickly learned that that was not the right fit for me. And I just kind of went on a deeper dive of trying to figure things out for myself. And so YouTube was a great resource. And I think that's when I kind of figured out on Elliott Wave. And I started researching that a little bit more. And then I ran across some people who had a method that combined really well with Elliott Wave, and I started trading from there. I didn't get serious about it until maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. I took an account from like $150 and flipped it to almost 5 figures within like 3 weeks. And I'm like, okay, this is serious. This is not just a game. I can really earn some money with this. And so I got more intentional about marking up charts on a regular basis, just being really serious about it. So that's how I got started. And that's how I ended up where I am now.
I started back in 2008. That was, after the big financial crisis there, 2008, 2009. Essentially, what got me into the markets is I had a business at the time. So I had my own business. And, when I started out of college, like 10 years prior to that, I had met with a financial advisor and some of the elder people at work, they had told me you need to start investing 10% of your monies. And anyways, and so I had put my monies in the markets, and then 10 years later, essentially they had gone nowhere because I was quite unlucky. I started out when there was the tech bubble crunch back in 2000. And then in 2008, there was the financial crisis. So, I hit, what was it called? The last decade, I think they called it in the financial markets. So I realized, here it's gone, 10 years have gone by and I haven't made any money. So I decided to try and learn a little bit more and maybe take a more active involvement into it. So I started doing that.